6.5%, was it? Is that what the current odds are of the Stanley Cup?
Well, and if you look at the round-by-round progression, the Stanley Cup favorite is the Vancouver Canucks.
Like, what a time to be alive!
Talking you through every goalie controversy, scoring slump, and draft lottery bust, this is the C4 Podcast on CanucksHockeyBlog.com. Here they are, the best starting lineup we could afford under the salary cap. Chris, Matt, Anna, and Adam.
Welcome to another episode of the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast, brought to you by the Full Press Coverage Network and CanucksHockeyBlog.com. I'm Chris at Lightforce, joined virtually as always by the yet again effervescent Anna Forsyth at A4Forsyth03. Welcome, Anna.
Thanks. How are you doing, Chris?
Not too bad. You could say I'm doing both sweet and savory.
I'm not sure how you can be doing savory, but yes, that's just a small reference to what we were talking about before we started recording.
And we were talking about squash.
Squash. Yeah. Which can be a
We're also
vegetable
talking
or a drink.
Right, which we were talking about on Instead of the Anthems, our patron-only pre-show that we stream live, like YouTube. Join in if you're a patron, get to see it. But we had to explain to Jay, who tuned in, what squash was. And for those listeners, I think we have a number of listeners like, I know what squash is.
Yeah,
I bet
There'll be so many people in the UK screaming at the.
If you say squash, right? There's people like, I know exactly what Anna's saying. If I say squash, there'll be people who'll be confused either way.
Yeah. I mean, it's like any time I say football.
Yeah, but I generally think when you say that, I know which that you are referencing, and I tried my best to translate for our colonial listeners.
Yeah, it's just that it's gone too far now that if I say football to my friends here, and I'm meaning the NFL, they will be confused. So I'm sick to calling that the NFL or CFL, depending.
Well, so I was going to say, if you call it American football, then do you call Canadian football? Because they're very similar, yet they're not.
Mm-hmm. I understand this.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Speaking of similar and not, Petey and Quinn, no deals.
I mean, they're similar in that they both still don't have deals.
And they're not the same at all because they're Petey and Quinn.
Yes. Different nationalities, different heights, different hair colors, different positions.
Different positions.
But yeah.
Different names.
Different names, also true. So apologies to everyone because we did say that it was mainly me trying to manifest their contracts into existence on the day we released, and it turns out that didn't quite happen.
No, it didn't. It didn't. I mean, we sort of even alluded to the fact that it might. And then news came out about the contracts, but it wasn't at all anything like what we had thought was possible. We'll get into that in this show. Obviously, rookie camp, though, is in full swing. And there'll be some rookies that apparently know how to play the game of hockey. Including, one of the rookies at the rookie camp isn't really a rookie. So...
Yeah,
I don't know
how nice
how
when that happens, though.
Yeah, true. And then with half full, half empty, we're going to get into the game of the vote of confidence. I mean, for those long-term listeners, this is the Matt Lee special. Matt would bring it up like 6 times over the course of the season.
Oh, at least.
We're going to go and we're going to resurrect the ghost of Matt Lee. Mm-hmm. And have votes of confidence. I mean, you could have just written in the rundown, you've made the list. And that would be another resurrection of Matt's ghost, of which, if you are a member of C4 Discord, you saw Matt resurrected. You've just made the list.
Yep.
For something that I didn't think was list worthy, but hey, it's Matt.
Anyway,
what can we say?
Join in the fun on Discord.
Yep. Let's start rewinding. The rookie camp is, as we said, underway. We've had a couple of, practices, scrimmages, workouts. We saw the teams playing, half-board hockey, which is always fun, where you got, it's like essentially like 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 if you count the goaltenders. You got like 3 players on either side.
Yeah.
Passing the puck in. it's controlled chaos, and I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I actually, to go off the rails again, I am back playing netball, which, if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's like basketball, but way more fun. But the only version I've played so far, since the pandemic started, is 3-on-3 netball. And bearing in mind there's meant to be 7 players, that's quite a chaotic version, so yeah.
Are you playing on like a half court? Or?
Half court, yeah. Otherwise,
I was going to say, if it's full court, that's a whole lot of space.
Yeah. But yeah.
Even on a half court, that's still a lot of space.
It is. There's a lot of running. But yes, I think those versions of the game can be quite fun, as we saw during rookie camp for the Canucks.
Well, you know, we occasionally see teams do this in even the regular season, where they'll have the nets backwards. It'll flip the nets on ice.
Yeah, just like if your goalie hadn't shown up to practice. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Like, it's pond hockey rules. And I feel like I understand that, okay, it's not technically, developing skills, but I feel it helps players remind themselves they're playing a game, and that game is meant to be fun. I know it's a work, it's employment, but I've seen so many iterations of the Vancouver Canucks where they're in a tough spell. They go out and they play pond hockey. Like, one that I distinctly remember, and I don't remember the year, but the Vancouver Canucks had a tough go. They were on an Eastern road trip, and they happened to be in Ottawa with a day off. I want to say it was like around November. And they attended the Remembrance Day ceremonies in the nation's capital. And they also pulled up to like a pond or something. Or maybe it was just even the Rideau Canal. And they played like pond hockey, and they beat the Ottawa Senators, and then proceeded to go on like a tear. There's something about it reminding these grown men that they're playing a game.
I mean, these rookies have had a tough couple years with everything about the world, so it's not a bad way to start. I was gonna say the fact that you don't really need goalies for that. I think they only had one goalie going into camp until day of or day before, when they pulled in Mikey DiPietro as a sort of practice goalie. So Seelovs just wasn't by himself facing all the shots.
Everyone.
I don't know how thankful the rookies were to have Mikey DiPietro to face, because he was stopping all the pucks.
Is he not still a rookie based on games played?
Sure, like he's started.
I know he's
one or
not
two
a rookie
games.
camp.
Yeah, but like
he would have otherwise not attended this camp necessarily.
Yes.
It's just they needed a goaltender.
Yes, and I
He's
think
looked good.
Yeah, he looked really good, and I think Mikey DiPietro is very much like Ian Clark protege that he built from the ground up. So he's like almost like the perfect goalie for the Canucks to sort of have as like, this is our like goalie. This is our goalie model.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But the camp itself is giving us some very good looks at. See, I'm trying not to pump tires here. I was going to say some, future Canucks stars. But being that we're now a positive podcast,
True.
Pod Colson, we sort of knew and expected, but we've got a good look at Klimovich. We've got a good look at Lockhart. And, one might argue the Canucks pipeline isn't as dire as these other negative podcasts are trying to portray.
Like us last season. I would say Lockhart for me is the biggest standout from that list that you just gave in terms of my expectations going in, which were like slim to none on Lockhart, and for him being one of the standout competitors, that's exciting. So yeah, there's a few people that they're not ready to go just yet, but a little more development, a little more baking in the oven, and we could have some legit players there.
So are you suggesting the Vancouver Canucks have buns in the oven?
Yeah, I realized as I said that was super weird analogy. Yeah. I don't know whether the Canucks rookies are babies or dough at this point, but yeah. There's some promising players. I think also it might have been I don't want to say reality check on Jet Wu, but just like everyone thinks that he's like ready to go next Quinn Hughes, and like he did really well in Utica, but maybe he needs another year like in the AHL, and that's fine.
Well, see, I feel like Jet Wu is a good example of someone who's now going to be unfairly compared to a player that I don't feel he needs to necessarily aspire to. It'd be phenomenal if he does. But I this sort of goes to sort of how we as sort of Canucks fans will often go and elevate a player. Oh, this person is the next such and such.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like we've done it with every prospect we've had. And then when we think about more recent times, we've had essentially 3 in a row, 4 actually. You know, I made this mistake, last week. But the thing is, it doesn't happen year over year over year. It's a phenomenal pipeline if that's the case, but
yeah, and I would say that like Paul Colton is that guy this year, right?
well, I mean, and the thing about Paz is he's essentially been playing the pro game.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that's really stood out in rookie camp is his shot is a refined shot.
Right.
It's not something you necessarily get out of these rookies at sort of the pro level. Why is that the case? Well, he's been playing pro hockey.
Yeah. And not in
necessarily
the most
NHL caliber, but
easier circumstances. So, yeah.
I mean, it's something that, I think we need to take into consideration. But there's also, an opportunity to be excited. I was reading, a friend of the show, Chris Faber's article over on Canucks Army, and he talks about 3 players that caught his eye. Now, 2 of them we've talked about, Mikey DiPietro and Vasily Podkolzin. A player, though, that we have not mentioned, Chase Wooders. And it's it's interesting. So let me actually take the quote here. Having a quiet day on video clips, Chase Wooders caught our eye for a different reason. The former 3-year captain of the Saskatoon Blades was showing his leadership qualities on day 1 of camp. There were multiple occasions where Wooders was attempting to explain things to Danila Klimovich, who I feel for is not as great with English and kind of just had to go through the motions of a drill without a proper explanation. Now, Wooders is not going to be, lights out necessarily, but in the unlikely event the Vancouver Canucks are in need of an alternate captain at some point down the road, or potentially a captain, depending on how things change over the course of the next few seasons, considering the Canucks are in cap trouble, it's nice to see a young kid do something. It's the small things, right? It's the stuff
that's really nice to see.
It's the intangibles. This is not going to go and contribute to his on-ice performance, but this is the type of thing that, and I mean, we think about the Vancouver Canucks. What was it that players used to say about Daniel and Henrik Sedin? Oh, they'd spend time with me. Like the more successful Canucks rosters had these strong leaders who instilled into younger players how to be the pros. And you've got a kid who's already seen an opportunity to show that he's got some quality to be that leader. And I got to give, Faber, some snaps. I don't know how else to describe it, for raising this, because I feel this is the type of thing that I like to see. That's the type of player you want more of. Now, he might only be a jag in the long run, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice little tidbit.
Yeah. Beyond that, sort of tying into the fact that we're going to be seeing the Canucks training camp a little bit sooner than later, obviously. I don't know if you were aware of this, but you, as a fan, Anna, can go and watch training camp. Did you know this?
I did know this. I mean, they're not aware of either, like, my work schedule or my will to ever go to Abbotsford. But yeah, apart from that, I could. And yeah, so for the very reasonable price of $5.50, which goes entirely to charity, I believe. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like I like that the Vancouver Canucks are allowing fans to go see. Like years ago, and you can actually find it on one of the 2 Canucks Hockey Blog YouTube channels. I have no idea whether there are 2, but there are 2. Myself, JJ Guerrero, the blog father, Mosey, 19, Richard Lote. The 3 of us, we went to Penticton for a Canucks training camp. And we watched it. We shared our thoughts, uploaded it to YouTube nightly. It was a phenomenal experience. And the cool thing was, I mean, this is not new. This is something the Canucks have done pre-pandemic. Was you got, a local community and fans who would otherwise not get to see an opportunity of NHL players up close and personal. So I like that they're doing this now. It's obviously marketing makes sense. You've got a new farm team there. Let's go and amp up interest.
Yeah.
But for $5.50, it's a heck of a deal. It's an opportunity to see drills. And it's a little more intimate. You're closer to the action. And essentially the rosters that sort of get trotted out, there'll be probably I imagine 4 different squads all out at different times. It's a mix mash, but still, it's good fun. And it's for a good cause. Get those tickets early, though. It's only 50% capacity.
Right. And I think there'll be a lot of interest there. So, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning. And I think you can get tickets for all 3. I don't think there's any.
I will not be going, work, for obvious reasons. And then we're still in the process of moving, and I am committed to making sure I get everything that I can possibly get out of the old place this weekend.
Right.
So,
yeah, even that's outside my area. Like, maybe I'll go see the Abbey Canucks play, but I was complaining. Anyone who saw on Discord, I was complaining about having to go to Burnaby on Friday. So
I know you live such a sheltered life.
I know I'm such a city kid.
Yeah. The off the rails moment though is me asking for food suggestions in South Surrey, and you tell me to go to East Van.
I think that's a good suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room and the fact that our podcast single-handedly screwed over Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, yikes.
And or the Vancouver Canucks.
I mean, there's been I wouldn't say development since I wrote this, but an ominous message from insider with 10 R's, Rick Dhaliwal, who is...
Well, but before Rick,
okay.
I mean, I was going to say, maybe not before Rick. It was sort of as part of maybe the same timing. You had Ray Ferraro and Darren Dreger, who are currently doing their Ray and Dregs podcast, but I think they're doing a media tour with the podcast, the two of them. They were on Sakaris and Price, and they held no punches talking about the contract situation between these two players and the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
And then more recent word comes out from Rick Dhaliwal, the man who I think must have the ability to read minds and or is not a cat burglar, but someone who is able to go into the shadows, and he's always there.
I thought you said cat burglar. That would be useful
cat.
For
a cat
the Canucks
burglar
right now.
Yeah. But he then goes and sheds light on how they're not even close, and it does sound like if anything's going to happen, they're going to be short-term deals. I don't even know, Petey would be, if they were talking short-term, Petey's bridge. If we're talking short-term with Quinn, I don't know if it would be bridge. But
yeah,
the cherry on the top here is Jack Hughes was asked about his contract situation and had been given the comparable of how his brother Quinn's going through a tough situation with the Vancouver Canucks. And Jack gives the hockey cliche of, I'm just going to let my play on the ice, do all the talking. I know a deal will get done. But let me tell you all these things about Quinn here and how it's a tough situation. He deserves the money. His team sucks.
I mean, the audacity. He doesn't play for the, Tampa Bay Lightning or the Vegas Golden Knights.
Thing, though. That's what people were saying.
Devils.
Have you looked at your own team? The thing is could you not argue that he knows what a team that's not doing well looks like, and therefore can make a fair comparison to another team that's not?
Then I would say that it's cruel to want to suck your brother into the sucky team you play for. But yeah, no one has ever accused any of the Hughes brothers of being the sharpest tools in the shed. And I'm sorry, I barely heard Luke speak, so I don't want to cast aspersions, but I I don't know how helpful that talk is to any side, really. Even Quinn Hughes and his negotiations, and Quinn Hughes' agent, but it all kind of adds up to not good, right? None of these noises coming out of camp are that good. And now Dollywell is reporting that Pettersson may have left town. So
well, okay. So I mean, this is all the news will have broken by the time you're
exactly.
listening to this podcast. You and I are currently watching this go down live. But Rick Dollywall has gone and said that he and Drance are going to have an article on The Athletic shortly. So, I mean, we're recording Monday evening. We'll have an interesting tidbit on Pettersson. Is he still in Vancouver? ?
yeah, I don't like question mark.
I'm not too concerned about, like, is he still in Vancouver? If he doesn't have a deal, he has no obligation to be here right now. It'd be nice that he is. But if camp's starting up, he needs to still, practice, and he needs to work on, essentially his own sort of camp. Now, where will he go and do that? I would imagine the opportunities are a little more strict here.
Yeah.
Like historically, what have players done in these types of situations? They've practiced with like the UBC men's hockey team or what have you. That may not exist as an opportunity. So maybe he's going to another location to do that. I'm not panicked yet, but my, oh my, are people lighting up.
Yeah. I mean, like, Rick knows what he's doing, right? He knows the Vancouver market. He's just, baiting us a little bit and getting all the eyes on that article as soon as it drops. He could have just
said an interesting tidbit on Pettersson has to do with bread, and people will be like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, bread is slang for money, so does that mean they're talking about money?
Okay. So, I mean, there are a few people that are suggesting, is this trade related? I would be blown away if they traded Petey.
That would be like, literally, they're going to fold the franchise if you don't trade him.
Well, what would the return be, first of all? Because the Vancouver Canucks aren't necessarily negotiating from a position of strength. This is a team that is all in on the playoffs. So you would have to consider that any Petey trade is bringing back something that has to get the cup here, like, this year.
Yeah.
It's not a trade. It can't be a trade. I refuse to even consider it as.
And it says tidbit. That's not a tidbit.
Yeah. I got a little tidbit here. Petey's been swapped for Eichel.
Yeah.
Just a little tidbit.
It's just like a tiny little morsel of a story.
Yeah. Anywho, if more comes out of this in the period of time it takes for us to record the show, we will share it. But we're going to take ourselves a short break. You're listening to the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast on the CanucksHockeyBlog.com and the Full Press Coverage Network.
Take hitting out of the game. You can't hit anymore, so don't do it.
The unsportsmanlike conduct, I want to get an explanation on that.
No kidding.
Because how do you get suspended for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Plus interference. There's no interference there. He had the puck.
Now, Madison never ever did that before. Now, why did he do it? That because he was mad.
Well, your early favorite for the Calder Trophy, that's for sure. Elias Pettersson, you might even say your early favorite for the Hart Trophy.
Just to get back to your question, Elias is going to play plenty. He didn't play. He's going to get a lot of power play time. And, yeah, I'm concerned about our offense. We lost 200-point players, and we've got to find a way to score.
I alluded to at the top. We're rolling out the ghost of Matley. Matt Motley _61.
It's not dead.
Former co-host and madman of the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast. And just on that note, didn't Matt say he would be back for an episode or two when he left?
Yeah.
Well, he's a liar.
He's
too busy.
Pull him out on that.
Taking like prop bet suggestions off of Canucks Twitter and publishing them online.
Terrible behavior.
Yeah. Anywho, we're bringing back Vote of Confidence, where you and I take a statement and suggest whether we have confidence or not. Now, you've got a hell of a good list here.
Yeah, but I'm
I have
also
to applaud you for that.
thank you. I'm also realizing a lot of them are about Quinn Hughes, who may or may not be on the ice. So,
Well, Quinn will have to be on the ice at some point.
yeah.
Like, there's no way he doesn't play a season.
No, I know.
Right? But let's kick things off. Vote of confidence. Quinn Hughes gets more points than last year.
Full confidence.
Oh, so am I. I mean, if you had said no confidence, but like, how is that even possible? The bar is so low. It was a tough year last year.
That was tough.
Like this.
Now he's got his buddy back.
Well, yeah, in Luke Schenn. The thing about the Vancouver Canucks this year compared to last year is they are arguably a better team. Yes, there's a whole lot of trouble in the cap and the potential of the future and whatever the problem will be. If there is a problem with OEL in 20 years when his deal's done. But as it stands, this Vancouver Canucks team should be better. And if it's a better team, that allows for Quinn Hughes to not necessarily be anchored defensively, but also provide him the opportunity to be more creatively offensive. And as we've seen, the kid's got a good stick.
Right. And maybe the chaos will just play into him and he'll be just like, F it, I'm going skating.
Yeah. Which then leads into the next statement. Quinn Hughes gets more points than his rookie year.
That's me stirring the pot.
So, do you have confidence here?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, because I don't. And see, this is the thing that I have an issue with. I think he is better than he is as of last year, but I think he's going to have more responsibility now as a defenseman. And while he would get opportunities, he will be on the power play. He will be an anchor because there's no Edler there to be the, anchor-ish in his stead. Not to say Quinn. I mean, Quinn was there. But like the thing about it is that I feel he's going to need to be more mature in how he approaches the game on the ice. That distinct pause was me trying to word my statement correctly.
Yeah. I mean,
now, you would mention freewheeling. Yeah. It could very well be that that's the case. But if he's freewheeling, either the Canucks are really good or they're really not that good.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling. Is that, like, especially if he ends up on a really short deal, like 2 years or whatever, like, he might be really good just to sell himself and be like, I'm out of here. New Jersey, take the wheel. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
if he gets like a 2-year deal, you're right.
Take.
Players, I mean, this is not a Quinn Hughes thing. This is just NHL players notoriously who get short deals with the show me contract. Not that Quinn needs to show anything. He has shown more than enough off of his rookie deal to deserve a hefty raise. Okay. I see what you're saying here. Here's another one. Oliver Ekman-Larsson's Corsi improves.
Not no confidence, but low confidence.
But okay, I feel confident that it improves simply because he is no longer playing with the Arizona Coyotes. I'm not suggesting his underlying numbers are suddenly drastically shoot for the positive. I simply feel this change of scenery will be good for him. And therefore, we will see improvement. Now, is it crazy ass money? Pardon my language. My goodness, I'm going to have to mark it as explicit. Contract he's got as being Corsi numbers? No. But I'm confident that we'll see an improvement.
Right. I mean, I hope you're right. So I did some reading. I read the Athletic Canucks mailbag. And, people were grasping at straws looking for any evidence or comparables to OEL's, career dip that then went back up again. And the issue is there's just no one that's been as good as he was that's gotten worse and gotten better again. There's a few people that have gotten worse from a lower height, so to speak. Chris Tanev being one of those who over his last year or so with Vancouver was, trending downwards, and he trended back up slightly in Calgary. But yeah, I think it's just hard to see someone who was as elite as him getting better. Maybe the plummet will slow, but I don't know if it will improve that much. But there we go.
The lotto line gets broken up in the first 5 games. Now, asterisk, is that contingent on anything?
I guess my thought with putting that is the fact that Travis gets bored and puts the lines in a blender, as he is wont to do, and that I'm saying that happens within the first 5 games.
But the not to point out the obvious, but part of the lotto line is currently
right. I mean, can we?
So
this is contingent on Petey starting the season on time.
No, but that's the thing. He might start the season on time, but if he doesn't have a camp, to me, that's guaranteed.
Fair. That's fair. Lack of training camp. So yeah, I mean, allow that to feed into your thinking. Assuming he starts the season on time, but yeah, he may not have any training camp behind him.
You know what? I can't. I have confidence that this will be broken up, but for reasons that are, one, there's so many question marks around Petey and whether or not he'll have a full camp. Not to suggest that he isn't an athletic specimen, because I'm pretty sure the kid is. But there's so many things that just are telling me that this is not a safe bet. If there is a prop bet from Matt Lee available, I'm probably not putting money on this one that they stick together 5 games.
Yeah. Okay. Would it change your mind if I said they won't, the difference between starting all 5 games together rather than changing during a game? Do you think they'll start all 5 games together? See?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's for those that are obviously unable to see me.
Yeah, I think we might be on the same page here.
I just, if the deal had been done, I actually would have some confidence that this is the one line that doesn't get broken. But there are if the team has a rough start, things don't get off, well. I mean, he's going to mix up the lines, and the moment there's one that clicks, you run with that, right? So it's no different than the Sedins getting split up. Though, I mean, actually, let me rephrase it. It's quite a bit different from the Sedins getting split up. Different coaches, but the Sedins always found their way back together.
And I believe Brock and Petey always will as well.
Yeah. Quinn Hughes has more than 2 unforced defensive partner changes, i.e. not injury suspension related. I'm not confident in this at all. I feel that the Vancouver Canucks, because if it's not injury or suspension related, I feel that the Vancouver Canucks blue line is constructed in such a way that there isn't a whole lot of opportunity to move pieces around in that top 4.
I say I don't have full confidence, but I think it will happen at least twice. Possibly more.
Okay, and we're talking about over the course of the season?
So I'd say a good level of confidence, not full confidence. I just don't think they figured it out yet.
Well, who would you put him with?
Right now, Luke Schenn, but
yeah, but there's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah, and there's no way that's going to be a full.
Okay, now you're talking me into this, because 2 in a season is.
I said more, but it says more than 2, so.
More than but still, I mean, 3. It's not. We're not talking about a dozen.
No.
Okay, you know what? I'm slightly confident.
You know what? We really should have been writing these down.
Don't worry, we've got listeners who will go and report back to us
Make a
and
list.
tell us and hold us That's right. They will hold us to these statements. Luke Schenn gets power play time in the first half of the season. Well, that's going to happen because injuries. I mean, he will get power play time, even with.
I'm going to say full confidence.
So I was going to say full confidence, but now I'm kind of like, wait, the Vancouver Canucks have run the power play as of late. It's the 4 forward, 1 defenseman, and they've done that with both the lines.
Yeah, and that's how it should run.
Right. Well, no. So this thing is, I have limited ability to go and ascertain whether or not the power play will be anything like it was in the past. The Newell Brown special is not going to be the Newell Brown special. Okay, I'm confident. I am confident, but this is the one where I'm so confident I feel like I'm overconfident.
That's a fun one for me. I kind of hope it happens, and not just so we're right.
Okay. If Luke Schenn finds his way onto the power play, there has been big things going on.
And can I just say, it does not count if he's like stuck on the power play. Like, this has to be a deliberate unit thing. I will say that.
Yeah, like 1-2, not comes out for the final 4 seconds to shut down or something like that. Or Luke Schenn gets a power play point. Well, hot damn, if he's on the power play unit,
could happen.
He's getting himself a point. Oh, full confidence.
Yeah.
Why not? Oh, man. People are going to start unsubscribing if they haven't done so already. What few listeners we have left are running away from us. Sutter gets more than 10 goals.
So bearing in mind he was on 9 last season, I believe.
But I don't like...
On a shortened season.
But he's not even going to get the minutes he once received. I mean,
no,
if he does, I mean,
I almost made this into a time
confidence.
on ice question actually about Sutter, but I changed it.
He's going to get goals.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I
just
don't have
see
the
it.
confidence in this one either.
Like, we have him as a 4th line center on the depth chart. I think he's going to get opportunities on the kill. If the Vancouver Canucks penalty kill is an aggressive one, and he's shown that he has the ability to quite smartly be aggressive on the penalty kill, I could see him getting goals shorthanded and get a few of those over the course of the season with a few others you contribute. Maybe, but I'm just not confident. His role's changing.
Yeah, I would say, because I was thinking about it there, like, Canucks recently haven't been great at the power kill, but the one person that has been quite good at that is Brandon Sutter, but I believe one of his hat-trick goals was on shorthanded, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Put me on a list, whatever. But yes, I'm with you. No confidence.
JT Miller gets in a fight before anyone on the so-called 4th line.
He's an angry dude. This is my thoughts and feelings behind putting that on there.
Okay, so the thing is you've been very specific. You've said the 4th line. So we're talking about 3 forwards, one of which is like, I mean, ultimately, who's going to be on the 4th line when we look at the roster? None of them are real
bruises.
No, right? Like, I see where you're going here. I just, like, if this was like, gets in a fight before anyone else, nah, man, someone on the blue line is going to go and just drop.
Okay.
But you said 4th line, so I was going to say I got confidence, but I don't have a lot because there's question marks. But again, I look at this Canucks roster, the fighters aren't on the 4th.
Yeah, I said I'm going to say full confidence.
Okay. I know I've been like one leg on the fence and almost all
a little
of mine,
clay
except
sitting
for you
on the fence,
convincing me into the Luke Schenn equation.
This has been such a positive Luke Schenn podcast.
Oh, I mean, I'm all for Luke Schenn. Speaking of Clay, you see he's doing a 24-hour live stream.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Does he have the stamina?
More power to him.
I mean, good for him, but I guess you've done that, right?
Well, I've not done 24 hours. Like, when I've done my Extra Life streams, I've done like just over 12 hours, and it's tough. Like, it is tough. I'm exhausted because you're constantly having to talk. You're on. So all the power to Clay to do it.
Yeah, if you.
I'm curious how he's going to power himself through.
Yeah, I believe Faber, who we mentioned before, because of his unusual sleep schedule due to watching prospects at all hours of the night, has agreed to be on it at a strange time. They might watch a game together, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I think if I had someone to like talk to, I could probably like continuously do it. And that's the thing with like the Extra Life game streams is often I'm on my own, especially near the end, and so that's when my energy just starts to go.
Yeah,
I get quiet. I could. This is like 12 hours.
Yeah, I could do it maybe if I had people to talk to all the time, but my focus is pretty bad the best of times. Like, I'm a very fidgety person. Yeah, my focus isn't very good, so yeah. I think I would struggle. So good for him.
Yeah, no, good for him. I soft spot, former host, even though he left me, but thankfully him leaving opened up the door for you to join us. So
yeah,
what would this have been had you not been here? Matt would have pieced out. He took Adam with him. Obviously, Adam was already locked in his basement or whatever it is.
Also, might be a collective figment of our imaginations.
True. Clay went video. Night podcasts with Parker.
Yeah.
Which I kind of actually, should he now be our mortal enemy? It's like he's gone to a competitive network.
I guess so. I mean, he's a bit too nice to be anyone's mortal enemy.
Oh, I've seen a dark side of Clay.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was too funny. Just to go off the rails, that I was like poking fun at him on Twitter, as I frequently do. And one of his fans sort of came to his defense. And I was just like...
A Clay stan, huh?
Jesus, like, this is just two buddies making fun of each other, but it was kind of funny. But
who was it that came to his defense?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe he thought he was joking as well. But yeah, it did read as like someone being like, no, Clay was right in this. It was funny.
Yeah, well, he probably was. Because this is what we're going to do. We're in the dog days of rookie camp. Training camp starts soon. The Vancouver Canucks don't have deals with Petey and Quinn. And we're, trying to get thoughts off our head. Every so often, I'll take shots at Drance by saying he double dipped chips at a CHB social many, many years ago, which is true. I have occasionally had people get on me for that. Like, what does that matter?
Yeah, I know. It's just funny. If you just haven't been around Canucks Twitter, you might. And it's hard to read tone of voice, but yeah, people don't necessarily know the background relationships, so it is quite funny.
Yeah, the topic of OG Canucks Twitter people comes up, and I don't consider myself an OG Canucks Twitter member.
You're pretty close.
I've been around Canucks Twitter for a long, long time. There's stuff that I can refer back to. I'm like grandpa. And the thing is there's people who were before me, and I reference the things that were big, like Peanut Butter Bros time. I don't know if you had ever heard that reference, Peanut Butter Bros time.
Nope.
That was courtesy of me. It was a meme that started to occur. And every so often when Burrows would score a goal as a Vancouver Canuck, someone on Twitter would say Peanut Butter Bros time. And all it was me just taking, I think what the song was, Peanut Butter Jelly Time, Butter Jelly Time. And I just said Peanut Butter Bros time.
Okay. So just a goofy.
Next thing you know, you got someone putting, Burrow's face onto the dancing banana. And anyhow.
Aren't peanut butter and jelly like otters? Wasn't that a thing?
It could be. I don't know. Okay. Just the meme is like a dancing banana saying peanut butter jelly time.
This sounds insane if you don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure there was a kid's show where there was otters called peanut butter and jelly.
No. It's probably like, I was in university when it was on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anywho, we'll be back next week, obviously, hopefully with maybe contract news this time. Or, we have yet to see what this tidbit is that Dollywell's dropping. Maybe, Canucks Twitter will be ablaze.
Yeah.
Like, just on fire.
It will, self-combust, and there won't be anything for us to analyze, but...
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy that we're that desperate for stuff right now. Yeah. What final words of wisdom do you have to share with everyone there, Anna?
Well, I'm not going to make the same mistake as last time. So just, yeah, like Luke Schenn is going to have a career year manifesting that.
Yeah. Me? Oh, I got nothing. I was trying to think of something positive to say. I got nothing.
Oh, God.
Dollywell's throwing me for a loop.
Training camp hasn't even started yet, Chris. You can't lose your spirit now.
Well, no, I'm still positive here. Very much a positive, playoff guy. This is the Canucks, C4 Canucks Hockey Playoff Podcast, or whatever the heck we had renamed ourselves. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just Dollywell. He's got me thrown for a loop. I really wish stuff like could he have not like pushed this out before we recorded, or at least waited until tomorrow?
Yeah.
The fact that this is coming out tonight, like it's 8 p.m. Pacific right now.
I know.
I can't imagine you push something out that late at night unless one of two things is happening. One, this tidbit's going to be public domain tomorrow and he wants to be the first to break it. Or two, it's really big deal stuff.
I imagine it's the
wait
former,
till
but
morning.
we'll see.
Yeah. Anywho, as always, you can tune into our podcast every which way that you can find us on the podcast application. We're also online at c4podcast.com. Again, what? Have you not seen the website? You're giving me faces right now.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of weirdly winking at you, but it's only because my contact lens is like funny. So apologies.
Okay. Well, you were just giving me some weird looks about the website, but it's back. I mean, I broke the old one. It's gone, but the new one's back. It has everything that you need to know about us. We're also on CanucksHockeyBlood.com and the Full Press Coverage Network. But you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, not yet TikTok, but we're at the C4 Podcast. And it's been a while since we've had anyone tell us how good we are or how bad we are. So leave us a review. You can review us on any podcast application that has that possibility, or you can go to podchaser.com/C4 podcast and leave one there. With that site, you can actually even leave an episode review. Like the guest of ours, let us know. Didn't like something that Anna or I had said, you let us know too. And I will mention this to those who've reached this point of the show. If you wanted to support us, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/C4 podcast, which gives you access not only to Instead of the Anthems, what we were talking about at the top of the show, our live stream pre-show exclusively to all of our patrons.
Every week.
And it's not like every week. If you can't tune in, it's on YouTube. You'll be able to see it. We share the link to our patrons in Discord. You also get access to our every so often patron-only show, Off the Rails. I say every so often. We're pretty good every couple of weeks, but we did take a month off because, hey, I moved. But our last episode, we were talking about Ted Lasso, which is kind of appropriate because Ted Lasso won all the Emmys.
Yeah, all of them.
So, all of them. Every single one. Best dramatic series, they won that. Yeah. Best reality series, won that. Oh, imagine if this was like a reality show. That'd be pretty cool if they could make that. I mean, there's kind of like what Wrexham.
Yeah, that's going to be.
What is it?
The Wrexham show with Ryan Reynolds and Rob. I don't know how to say his last name.
McElhenney?
Yeah, that's it. But there's already Sunderland Till I Die, which is excellent. I would check that out if I were you. And there is...
Is that one on Netflix?
That's the one on Netflix. The first series, at least, is excellent. All or Nothing is the one. They've done City, and then they've done Spurs. And
I was going to say Spurs.
Right now, they're doing Arsenal, which is...
going
to be
bad. How's Arsenal doing? I haven't looked at the table.
Yeah.
Has Arsenal improved any?
Yes, I mean, they won another game.
Oh, so they found their way outside of the relegation zone?
Well, they have won 2 games in a row, 1-0, but that's, against pretty poor opposition, so it's not necessarily convincing.
I know the season is a lengthy-ish one.
Yes.
Home and away with every side, but it's never a good look when you're a top-tier team who has not expected to be anywhere near the relegation zone, still in the relegation zone many weeks into a season.
Yeah.
Imagine if they introduced relegation into like the NHL.
Don't even joke about it. Canucks would go down so fast.
The thing is, it'll never happen in North American sports, but it'd be surreal if relegation and promotion was a thing here.
Yep.
I genuinely wonder how North American sports fans would be able to compute relegation.
I mean, that's the
promotion
thing. Like, you talk about like end of season games not mattering. For some people, that would never happen in like the Premier League. It's so important to stay in the Premier League. It's such
the money.
Money is just like such a huge difference. So yeah.
Imagine like you could have like the NHL, the AHL, the ECHL, the UHL, I don't know, whatever league it was that the was it Danford or whatever it was, Danford Trashers, the series that you probably still need to watch on Netflix.
Yeah, you can tell by my face that I have not watched it.
Oh, it's I mentioned last episode, friend of the show, Josh Gould had mentioned it to me. It's a really good episode. But yeah. Anywho, enough of that. You can find Anna at 8460 myself. I am at Lightforce on Twitter. Give us a follow. Give us a shout out. Tell us everything you have ever wanted to tell us before, including the winning lottery numbers. But on behalf of myself and Anna, we out.